Before we start, native foods, indigenous foods are all around us. I've got some that we cooked, and we're gonna do, so the beans right here. So see that, nice and hot, nice and cooked. I don't cook them to where they're all mushy. Want to keep them, nice and intact so that we can tell what they are. They taste good. They hold their shape. We got some white beans too. See how it kind of rolls around? We just want to take it, and I just cut off the tips. And I'll just cut it in half so it's a little more manageable. And then I'll take it, and I'm just going to take it. That's called squaring it off. All right. That's called squaring it off right here. So makes it more stable, easier to work with. You can do this with anything that's round. So all you want to do for this, I just want to cut it and make just a nice medium dice. It doesn't have to be too perfect, but try to keep them as uniform as possible so that they cook evenly. So really simple. Just cut them, and again, see how I'm keeping the tip on the board and letting my knife just saw through it, and just producing a small dice or a medium dice. I'm not too concerned about it all being perfect, so don't freak out. Think I'm gonna throw a pot or anything. So I'll just cut them down. So this is the zucchini, and we're gonna do Three Sisters with autumn squash, a little bit of late season zucchini, yellow squash. And when you're doing the Three Sisters at home, you want to use it in equal parts. So 1 cup corn, 1 cup squash, 1 cup beans. Just kind of do the math. It's really simple. So that's how we're going to cut the zucchini, whoever gets on the zucchini station. Same thing with the yellow squash, okay? Again, cut off a very small amount of the tip right there. And if you compost, save it for the compost bin. I always cut it in half to make it more manageable. Cut it in half or cut it down, and I just kind of, see that? And then these slices, I'll just stack them up and then cut them down again into smaller pieces. Can you give me some of those green onions in the back? So, really simple, just about this size. So that's how we're going to cut the yellow squash. All right. And our beans obviously are already done, so someone can finish that. I'll show you butternut. How many have used this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of stubborn, right? Kind of hard, right? So what I always do with butternut squash, depending on how I'm going to cook it, the easiest way to roast it is to just split it in half and then take out the seeds and put the cut side down so it's flat. And put a little bit of water in the pan and then roast it at 350 for like 45 minutes. When it's done, this will kind of be wrinkled. It'll be nice and soft. Really easy way to cook it. For us, because I don't have an oven, I'm going to pan roast it. So to prep it for that, again, it's kind of, rolls around. It's kind of stubborn. Remember, a sharp knife is a safe knife because I can do exactly what I want. You know what I mean? Instead of struggling. So in here is the cavity, right? Where all the babies are, the seeds, right? So inside, I'm going to take it and I'm just going to cut off the neck right there. And I'm just going to take it. See, I've squared it off in a way. Now I can manage it a little bit. And I'll just take it. And this is how I do it. You can do it with a peeler. But I'm going to just, see that? Take my knife. I'm holding it nice and firm. Just kind of going like that. So try to get just a small amount of flesh off. You want to get that white, tough skin off of there. And if you roast it whole, you can just scoop it out. You know what I mean? It's really nice. Put some honey on there. Really, really delicious. And then for this guy too, same thing. Cut them into manageable pieces. Manageable pieces, and then we'll cut them down, and then we'll pan roast them. See that? So we can cut them out. And if you're a seed saver, someone can have these seeds, but we'll put them on here. So just about the same size dice. And what I'll do is I'll demo how it looks when it's all done, and we'll draw flavor out by not adding too much salt right away. Okay, so I'll continue these. How many of you have used delicata squash? Anybody? All right, well, we don't have an oven, but I'm gonna split it open so you can see, and to kind of give you an idea how you would treat the butternut and or acorn squash, or most squash too. So if you want to take it and just carefully hold it and split it, and then you got the cavity, and you would scoop out all these seeds, and then you put them in your pan like this with a little bit of water. You could take a little bit of herb and put it in here and put it down, and a little bit of water so it doesn't like burn right away, so it steams it to start it, and then it'll soften up after about 30-40 minutes. Nice and sweet. The Italians like to say is theirs too. So you can even tell by the name, the delicata. It's in a lot of pasta dishes with like sage and pignons. You know, it's like, hey man, that's native. You don't know. So just being able to recognize these dishes or these ingredients is the key part. And then from there on, you know, again, wisdom sits in places. We go to cookbooks or other resources, or, you know, or to our relatives, and we find the information for ourselves. So to work clean, I just either take these off, or I just take my knife and just cut off the tip like that. See that? And then all I'll do is just, normally what I'll do is I'll roast them just like this. Just throw them in the oven, 30 minutes, about 350. And then when they're nice and the husks are golden, they've steamed in their own silk, you can pull them out. And then when they come out of the oven, all you have to do is cool. All you have to do is cut off the end to where it's exposed, and then these guys will just slide right out. You know what I mean? It's like, dang, I saw that on the internet. But so, see, I took it and I just cut it, and I'm just gonna peel back the husks. So if you guys want to keep the husks, you can, for whatever reason, or you want to keep the silk. The corn silk is edible. I learned that you can make some Navajo or native shredded mini wheats, right? Mini corn or whatever. You can just take them, roll them up, and you can tie them too if you want. You can dry them in the oven, and they're crunchy. For the corn, you can cut it like this, and then what you'll see is it'll run away from you. It doesn't want to be eaten. You know, it's going to try to escape. So you want to keep it. So you would take it, again, see it kind of rolls around, hold it firm, and you just keep your fingertips tucked, and then square it off like that, see? And then you can go like this, see that? Roll it again, see that? And roll it again, nice and stable, and then you can go back, and it's not as messy. Because if you start like this, most of the time it'll just, you'll be chasing corn all over the table and it'll be on the floor. So, really simple. That's all you'll do on the corn. So you want to get it right when it's nice and hot, and right to the smoking point, we call it. So just a big pan, so it looks like a lot, but I want it to get coated all the way around. See that? See it shimmering? It's like nice waves, all that energy from the fire coming through the pan. So all I want to do is just take my squash, and it's just, okay, remember, but at this point, you put it in, and you don't start shaking it around and trying to force it. Remember, you've got to be patient. Like we talked about that seed, you want to let it develop. So take it, swirl it around, and then I'll just add that in there like that. So as that, we want that to caramelize. So we want it we want that heat to activate all those sugars and to caramelize it. So this way, this is like the first part of building flavors for this autumn Three Sisters. So zucchini, yellow squash, and I'm adding these because they're raw, right? You want to cook them first. And I'm gonna, since this pan is hot, I'm gonna split them between two batches. I just want to get them started so you guys can have a good amount. So again, caramelization applies here too. So just getting them nice and coated, and then just just letting them saute. I don't want to cook them too long. It's kind of one of those dishes where it's nice and fast, you know what I mean? Where you can cook it quickly and it's done instead of letting it cook too much. And again, you notice I haven't added any salt yet. It's because I'm building these flavors of caramelization. So I'm going to add the corn. But you can really do this all in one pot. Just cook your raw squash first, add your corn, then add your cooked beans. Saute it and season it the way you want. Really simple. The corn is planted in the middle, so the beans are planted next to it. The beans have a natural beanstalk to climb up, right, and hang and bear their fruit. The squash is planted outside of that, so the squash has those big leaves that have little tiny prickly thorns. The beans release nitrogen into the soil. The corn needs those amino acids. The beans and the squash provide it. So through that whole life cycle of these plants, all that whole symbiotic relationship is happening. And then once at the end of their life cycle, they give their life to us so we can live. You know, they continue it with protein. So really cool. And this is one of my favorite ways of teaching about symbiotic relationships and working together, because the plants work together, and you'll see that they taste good together. You know what I mean? So it means teamwork tastes good, I guess, right? Tastes better. So I'm going to split these two between a couple pans. So this is a nice fall version. So yeah, here we go. All right. So I still haven't added any salt or pepper yet. I'm gonna wait till the end. So the beans, I'll just take them, use a slaughter spoon, and I'll just add them at the end, so that they're just really warming them through. That's it. And then any of that liquid that's left in there will really just kind of add like a stock to it. So now this is almost done. You guys are a few minutes away from lunch. Colorful food is healthy food, right? So you can see all the different flavors and textures going on here, all indigenous foods here, right? Corn, beans, and squash, and the tomatoes. So we're adding the tomatoes at the end because tomatoes have acid in them too. But I don't want to add them too early because tomatoes are like mushrooms, almost all water. Otherwise they'll break down and get mushy. I want them to still hold some of their shape. So I do want that nice acidic note. But now here's where I start to layer the final flavors. Yeah, so let those warm through by putting them in the bottom. Take some generous parsley, or you could chop up kale, or chop up spinach, or you could chop up wild lamb's quarters. You know, you could chop up a number of different greens based on what you want, and just throw them in there. And then again, remember I was saying the salt, just one even layer over the top usually does the trick. Yeah. A little bit of pepper. And then I still want to use a little bit of lemon juice, because if salt pulls out flavors, lemons kind of push them out too. You know, like, hurry up. So just a little bit, just to brighten it up. So we've got all these different complexities going on, but at the same time it's very simple. So we got the nice kind of woody, earthy beans, the grassy roasted zucchini, yellow squash, the sweet butternut squash, and the sweet corn that's in there also. So I'm going to switch to a spoon. Then we got the nice acidic tomatoes, a little bit of herb, and we're good. So you can see, because of our indigenous foods and our ancestral knowledge, these plants come back. And when we frame them, remember I was saying a lens of ancestral knowledge? When we frame them in that way, we're practicing resiliency. This is culinary decolonization, you know? We're re-examining what's healthy for us, not just from a nutritional standpoint, but from a spiritual standpoint, a historical standpoint. recovery standpoint. So cool. I mean, and then you get to eat, then you get to eat this edible ancestral knowledge. So powerful. And that's why when we cook like this, we cook so that we teach it as a life skill. Not, we don't, I can do those really intricate, like modern platings. Those are cool and awesome. But this is where the change really happens. Because you can all do this. You did just do this. You know what I mean? And you can take it home. You can teach it. Each and every one of you can do a cooking demo and say, this is symbiotic relationships. This is three systems. Okay. And finish with a little sunflower seeds. If we had pumpkin seeds, it would be like adding in the little babies of the squash, right? So we'll add this in there for a little crunch.
Delicious. It's amazing.
The whole class was really informational, and it really gave me a whole perspective of eating right. It was really good. I like it.